Okay, so I'm here today, joined by Mr. Charlie Seddon, who plays Paul Sierra, or Dr. Paul, in A Mother's Love. So, Charlie, what do you think of the character of Paul?
Character of Paul, he's very professional, and he has been brought into this situation, and he's got quite a difficult job, to be honest, because on the one hand he wants to help out his friend in the first place, but he's not really sure if his friend is all in the right place. Whereas his patient seems to be more agreeable with, as she is cooperating. So it does put him in quite a sticky situation, and being the professional that he is, obviously he's dealt with something like this before, and so emotions fly around, but he's got to make sure everything is under control, and that can be tough to get the right balance, especially not being too familiarised with who you're dealing with. So he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders, really. But I think he's very compassionate, and as a doctor, he's used to helping. Like, he wouldn't be a doctor if he wasn't wanting to help. So he's always going to be in the right place. His heart's going to be in the right place.
And you say that it's a case of being professional, but he's dealing with his friends here. What do you think is more important to him, being professional in his judgment and in his mannerisms, or helping out his friend and his friend's wife?
I'd say certainly the professional side, because, as a doctor, you know that you have to be professional, and you've been trained not to get attached, otherwise that would ruin you. And so he finds the right balance of making sure that Philip knows his place within the relationship, that he is there, and his wife is the one who's in trouble, and Philip needs to stay out of the way. So Paul wants to make sure that's clear, and I'm not sure if Philip can handle that very well. So Philip has to learn to deal with that more than Paul.
And obviously these two are friends, but what do you think of the tension that is brewing between Paul and Philip?
Well, I'm sure that they've probably had something like this before. They've got a past together, so they know each other quite well. I think that Paul probably knows that Philip has anger problems, or that's what he would assume. And I don't think he holds that against him. I think he's used to it, so he's probably ready to deal with anything that Philip has to throw at him, I'd say.
And Paul's relationship, which builds with Cynthia, where do you think he stands with that? And who do you think he is trying to serve the better, if that makes sense? Who do you think after hearing Cynthia's side of the story, whose side do you reckon he's a little bit more endeared to?
Well, I'd say that there's a definite attachment to Cynthia. He's definitely grown very close to her, and I think he quite likes her as a person. She seems honest, and she seems willing to try and help the situation, and he is doing his best for their son. So by doing what's best for her, I think he believes he is doing what's best for her son. So I would say that he feels Philip is just getting in the way, really. He's probably quite thankful that Philip's called him in after hearing all the predicament, but definitely Cynthia is the rapport between them grows, and he feels the necessity of letting her trust him. So there's definitely a strong bond between the two.
Okay. And having obviously been at the read-through stages, what do you see coming from what we've done so far? What do you think Philip and Paul's relationship, do you reckon that will bloom in something a little bit more confrontational, or do you reckon they will be able to pull back some of that camaraderie?
I reckon that it could get even more heated, to be honest. Philip is probably unwilling to cooperate, and just over time he'd grow more annoyed, really. It would keep building up. They're no longer... when they were friends before, I'm sure that they didn't have anything relying on each other. They friends, maybe university, so they were just friends. They didn't have a professional point coming between them. So I'm not sure that they can actually rely on how they used to be in the past.
Okay, that's good. And just the last question, just a brief one here. Nurse Claire, do you think that Paul wants her to be there? All things considered. Do you think he believes that her presence is necessary straight away, or...?
I think he's used to having her. She's more of a standoffish type who he sort of sees her as a personal assistant, which can help when there's a case which he's not really too bothered about, as he's quite a busy man. She helps him out, you know, as in Gillian works as a maid. Maybe she's the same sort of role, but I think he does rely on her. But she is surprised when he does not rely on her as much for this case. I think it shows that he's taken an interest, special interest in this case, and especially leaving her out of the loop is it's probably quite tough on her, to be honest. They probably worked with each other quite a while. She's used to always being there, so.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Charlie. This was Charlie Seddon playing Philip. Stay tuned for more cast interviews. Thank you. Good night.